For the first 30 seconds, imagine a universe where Superman does not suddenly turn evil, does not lose his morals, and does not abandon hope, but simply decides to stop holding back. A world where every punch finally lands with its full weight, every rescue ignores collateral limits, every warning becomes action instead of restraint. And the terrifying part is realizing how fragile everything becomes the moment the strongest being alive stops pretending he is weak. Because this story is not about Superman becoming a villain. It is about the DC Universe discovering how much of reality was being held together by Superman choosing not to try his hardest. This story begins in a DC Universe that has grown comfortable with Superman's limits, a universe that believes it understands him because it has only ever seen a controlled version, a Superman who measures every movement, dampens every reaction, and constantly calculates how much power is just enough. Heroes fight beside him, believing they know his ceiling, villains challenge him, believing they can survive him, and worlds provoke disasters, believing Superman will always save the day without breaking anything important. That assumption is the first thing to shatter. What makes this story funny in a dark, ironic way is how everyone reacts when Superman finally stops holding back and nothing happens immediately. There is no explosion, no declaration, no dramatic costume change, just a subtle difference in speed, precision, and decisiveness. Fights end before anyone realizes they began, invasions stop mid-sentence, and threats vanish so efficiently that news reports struggle to explain what actually occurred. The universe laughs nervously at first, unsure whether to be impressed or concerned, because everything seems better, faster, cleaner. The curiosity deepens when heroes start noticing the gaps in their own understanding, realizing that Superman has been operating at a fraction of his potential for years, not because he had to, but because he chose to. Batman recalculates contingencies that suddenly feel irrelevant. Wonder Woman senses a shift in balance older than history, and even cosmic beings begin paying attention, because the universe itself feels slightly less stable when its strongest anchor stops restraining himself. Superman's decision is not driven by anger, but by exhaustion and clarity. By the realization that holding back has allowed suffering to repeat endlessly. Every time he chose restraint, someone else paid the price later. Every time he slowed down, someone else died somewhere else. When Superman stops holding back, it feels less like rebellion and more like correction, as if reality itself has been mismanaged and he has finally decided to fix it properly. The darkness creeps in quietly, because when Superman acts without restraint, consequences stop being local. Mountains crack instead of shaking, villains disappear instead of retreating, and space itself bends around his movements. What used to be heroic spectacle becomes unsettling efficiency. The universe realizes that Superman was not just protecting it from threats, but protecting it from himself. There is strange humor in how villains respond to this new reality, some attempting grand speeches only to be interrupted by instant defeat, others fleeing before battles even begin, and a few embracing absurd denial, claiming Superman has not changed at all while hiding deeper than ever before. Fear spreads faster than destruction, because no one knows what Superman's limits actually are anymore. The intrigue peaks when Superman realizes that stopping threats is easy, but managing the aftermath is not. Planets saved too quickly do not learn from near extinction. Governments rescued too efficiently do not reform. The universe becomes safer but lazier, more dependent, and dangerously passive. Superman begins seeing the same pattern Batman once feared, a universe leaning on one being instead of standing on its own. What truly breaks everything is not Superman's power, but the precedent he sets. Once he demonstrates what full effort looks like, restraint begins to feel irresponsible. Heroes question why they ever held back. Cosmic entities reconsider old treaties. Villains realize that escalation no longer works. The rules that governed conflict across the DC universe unravel, replaced by a single truth: Superman can end almost anything, almost any time. This is where the story becomes most unsettling, because Superman does not lose control, he maintains it perfectly. He chooses targets carefully, minimizes unnecessary harm, and continues believing in life and hope. The universe cannot label him a tyrant because results are undeniable. Wars end, invasions stop, genocides never begin. Everything breaks because everything works. The curiosity turns philosophical as resistance grows not from villains, but from allies who fear what happens when Superman decides what is necessary. Freedom begins to feel conditional. Choice begins to feel symbolic. Superman listens, understands, and still acts, because he has seen too many worlds destroyed by hesitation disguised as morality. As Superman stops holding back, reality itself seems to strain under the weight of his presence. Time feels smaller, distance feels meaningless. The universe realizes it has always existed at Superman's mercy, and that mercy was the only thing keeping balance intact. When that mercy becomes selective, everything changes. The story does not end with Superman ruling or falling, but with the universe adjusting around him, reshaping itself to survive a protector who no longer pretends to be limited. Heroes redefine their roles. Villains rethink existence. Worlds rewrite myths. Superman becomes less a hero and more a force, and forces do not ask permission. By the end, the DC universe is safer, quieter, and profoundly unsettled, because the greatest realization is not that Superman can break everything, but that he always could, and simply chose not to. When Superman stops holding back, everything breaks not because he is wrong, but because the universe was never built to handle him at full strength. If you enjoyed this funny, curious, and deeply intriguing breakdown of what happens when Superman stops holding back, make sure to subscribe for more epic DC stories. Comment below with your thoughts on whether Superman was right or wrong, and share this video with fellow fans who love exploring the consequences of absolute power.